I think the first time when I lived here for 6 months in the mid 80s, uh, it was dry down here, and I actually never really knew this was a river. I was kind of clueless at that point. I mean, there were cottonwoods, and I don't know, there probably weren't any willows, or hardly, I doubt, at that point, because these aren't that old. It had been a road for a long time. At that point, it probably looked more like a road or an old arroyo to me, and we never really hung out down here during that time. So I was kind of surprised when I came back, a few years later, and Mo was talking about the river. I was like, "What river?" and the first couple times it flowed when we were living here, it was just like a revelation.
This really is a live river, even though it's underground part of the time, and even though it's dry part of the time. And even when it's dry, it's beautiful. And so what I see is this amazing interplay between the land and the river and the water and what the water does, and the rocks, which are gorgeous, dry or wet. And you start to realize there's things going on around you that are so amazingly beautiful that you can't, because of our veils that we have, you're barely scratching the surface of the depth of aesthetic and integral beauty that you're involved with. When you live along a river like this, these become your stories and your little threads of excitement. It's really clear to me that this area has been highly affected by and impacted by people harvesting its resources. One of its resources being that it's the most level and easiest way to get from here to California. You can't go through Santa Fe. The Santa Fe Railroad didn't go through Santa Fe because it had to go over the escarpment of La Bajada, and it couldn't do that in any reasonable fashion. It's too steep. Once you destroy an area, like they did 100 years ago, then you take on the responsibility at that point. If it's human-caused destruction, then you take on the responsibility of needing to monitor it and care for it as it needs to be done. Once you begin to interact with it, then there's the germ of something really profound because you become a part of it. You know, the children that come here, they're the lucky people, and I am too, on this planet, who can be a part of that, this living thing, this entity called a river, or a creek, or a dry stream bed, or whatever you want to call it. That's our natural heritage. That's what we have.